Hey, this is Caden McDonald, and this is Goes Alright. G'day, guys, and welcome to the Goes Alright Grand Final special. We have a massive show for yourselves to tune into. You can tune in by watching. You can tune in by listening. We've got the vodcast on Spotify. That's one of the perks of working with the best in the business. I'm joined by my co-host, Connor Rogers. Rogie, how are you, mate?
Never better. It's grand final week, my favourite time of the year. But I would almost argue, C. McDonald, that this is not a grand final special. I think this is a grand final spectacular.
It is, isn't it?
With the lineup
It's a bonanza.
We've got Jackie Post, radio phenomenon, coming in to belt some tunes out. We've got the Bromley-Lynch twins.
They're doing great stuff with their Producy podcast.
The Quizmasters. We've got the List Cloggers, Dan and Dill. Plenty more on the show, and I just couldn't be any more excited to get stuck in.
Super exciting. We're going to talk some footy as well. The Cats and the Swans, the biggest day on the football calendar. How are you feeling about it? Is there any nerves as a neutral supporter?
Nah, not really nerves. I just get so excited. Excitement is the only emotion I feel during grand final week. It is the biggest day on the footballing calendar, but what is a very close second would be AFL's Night of Nights, being the Brownlow medal. We were lucky enough to be there last night.
The glitz and the glamour.
And that felt like winning a premiership. To me.
It was unbelievable. We were sent down by ball magnets. We were on the red carpet. We were chatting to all the superstars of the competition. And I thought we handled ourselves quite well there, Roger.
We absolutely did handle ourselves well for the most part. Except for you had a little blunder. Before we celebrated Patrick Cripps being the deserving Brownlow medalist. Congratulations to you, Cripper. We're out there on the red carpet.
Oh, no.
We've absolutely put on a clinic with 10 or 12 interviews, got plenty of insight, but then the King of Kings walks in, the top of the tree. Yep. We're talking Gil McLachlan. Yep. And I don't think you had your finest moment, Kate.
So it was a little bit frustrating because I thought we'd done really well. We'd had a big day, a lot of content we filmed on the Sunday. We had a lot of interviews come through, and it's quite hectic. You know, there's photographers, there's big wigs, there's AFL stars just streaming through. You're sort of trying to get them over to have a chat. We had 6, 7, 8, 9 good chats with people, and I'd sort of decompressed. I was on a bit of an adrenaline dump because it was later in the red carpet. All of a sudden, Gillen walks past, and we thought, geez, we got to chat to Gil. So you've wrangled Gil over. We've sort of got the equipment, got the mic. We've fired it all up. And
his advisor
said, all right, boys, we've got one question. Because, we got to get in and out. And I've had a bit of a mare, Rog.
And this is the one question we get to the one person you'd want to ask a question to, and this is what you fired away with.
All right, we're here with the great man, Gil McLachlan. Mate, are you pumped for the night?
I'm excited, yeah. It's a long night for doing what I'm doing, but I'm...
Oh, Rog.
Are you pumped? The look he gave to you was if to say... Oh,
you're better than that.
Do I have to answer this? All right. But then he gave us plenty, the great man.
So, yeah, for the context, it was late in the piece. There was a little bit of fatigue, the adrenaline dump, and I just butchered my words and then just went to the man who runs the AFL.
Pumped?
You're pumped. And he wasn't pumped.
I don't think he was too pumped after that question at all. But I was pumped with what has been just an incredible first season of Goes Alright. Plenty of highlights. I know one of my favourites was getting Jackie Ginnivan on the show. How good was he to have on the podcast?
Well, that felt like when we finally got some momentum in the podcast. It's always hard sort of starting a new podcast or starting a show in particular. So it was good to finally get some momentum with the show, to land Jackie Ginnivan. He was amazing, the insight that he gave. So that would probably be one of our favourite episodes. If anyone hasn't checked that one out, go back and give it a listen. It's
what
a
about
great insight to the man.
A bit of a left field one that a lot of people seem to have absolutely loved. Mitch Cleary.
Mitch Cleary, that's one of our most recent ones. The insight that he gave in terms of getting into the AFL media was unbelievable.
Not someone you would think of all the footballing landscape people want to listen to, but that was absolutely fantastic. And how about the comedy impressions of Elliot Loney? That was one of the biggest belly laughs I've had all season, I reckon.
Yeah, another one of our favourite episodes. We don't like to distinguish the episodes because anyone who comes on, we really appreciate their time. But Elliot Loney, he is just a superstar in the making, if not already a superstar. And the way that he can just make us laugh is absurd. So that's another one of our chats that we rank up there from the season.
It's been so much fun. But this next week, Grand Final week.
Yep.
It is the biggest week of them all, and of course, when it comes to Grand Final week, you're talking predictions. And have you got your winner yet?
I do. I think we might reveal it a little bit later in the show, but another part of the podcast that I absolutely love is the engagement, Rog. The messages, the video messages that we get. It's a great part of the show.
It's a great part of Spotify. We've gotten so many questions coming in about the show with our question of the week each week, and I believe we've got some sent in to us this week, do we?
Something's been sent in by another great podcast, the Full Credit Boys. They've sent in a little bit of a video here. We're not quite sure what it is, so let's check it out now.
September.
Wanker.
Shut up. Summer just around the corner, footy finals and tipping comps are about to crown their champion. But how good is a pastime if it affects your moral code?
Last year, our mate, who goes by Beers FC, won our tipping comp. He actually won the entire thing, taking home $50,000.
How did you do it?
Absolutely no strategy.
Some light-hearted banter promised some sort of end-of-season piss-up, but by December, all of our mouths remained dry.
He promised us box seats, promised to stay at the pub, and then out of nowhere, poof, he just disappeared.
You're right.
Just football mates.
With 3 rounds left in the 2022 AFL season, Beers FC was leading again.
It's like he's rubbing it in our faces that he's won once, he's going to win again.
There needed to be retribution.
Andy, honestly, Andy, cheers so much, mate. We'll keep it all anonymous.
I would need 3 perfect rounds to beat Beers FC. Impossible, right? Not. If I know the results before they happen.
I posted an ad on a Perth Facebook job page offering $150 for psychics willing to be on TV. The interest flooded in. If the psychics were real, Beers FC would meet his downfall. We set a date and lined up 3 psychics with interviews. Their skills and approach all varied.
And produce a phenomenon where a face forms over the top of mine. My face just
Sorry, yeah.
I've been doing psychic work and healing work for about over 25 years now.
See their face form, so you'll see the face change from male to female to having a mustache to old, young.
Okay. So when did you start realising you had psychic abilities?
Oh, I'm not actually a psychic.
Okay. Well, because the ad said we need psychics.
Yeah, so I'd give it a crack.
Okay. All right. Well, may as well give it a go.
When it was time to tip, they obliged.
Does the name Beers FC, does that come in at all? It's Clive Waterhouse is the image. It's for a tipping comp.
Not that I'm seeing, no.
Oh, it feels close again, but I'm sensing a little more energy with this one here.
Okay. So any psychics in the family, mate, or?
Only my great aunt Roberta.
Who'd she go for?
She went for St Kilda.
Notice you didn't tip St Kilda just then, though.
Nah, she was a terrible psychic.
But something psychic Sharon said rocked me to my core.
I'm just getting a feeling about your dad. There's like a distance sort of feeling there. Sort of like it could be an emotional distance as well. So
I'd always been close with my dad, but recently we had grown apart. How could the psychics be so accurate with something like this, but then at the same time tip North Melbourne? Who do you support?
And North Melbourne.
It's a tough year. I noticed you tick North over
I
Sydney.
could try that again. That one.
No, I like the instinctive one. Just as long as it wasn't stuffing the ballot, maybe because of of a support for the ruse.
Decided to confront my dad.
Dad, can we talk? The psychic said that like we had a distance, and I don't know. Do you think we have we probably should talk about it?
I spiraled.
It's not going to mean anything, but we're trying to get Beers FC and bring him down. But one thing she said is that we have a distance that maybe is unresolved.
I don't have any distance, but you're fine. We're fine. Tom, don't worry about it.
It's Josh. I think we probably need to... Can you just stop with the bananas?
I love you, son.
The psychics were wrong about Dad. They're also really shit at tipping, just like me. Beers FC won again. He also made some promises he probably won't keep. But I was still grateful. Just needed to thank one person before it was too late.
For everything you've done and for everything we've been through.
Josh, say no more. Let's just get out of here.
As always, good work, Mark. Oh, God.
Thank you to Josh Garlepp for sending that in. Rog, I'm not quite sure about the psychic predicting the grand final, so we're going to bring an expert in. We're joined by Michael Barlow. Michael, how are you, mate?
Oh, boys, good to be here. There's a bit happening, but it's really good to be here. Joshy Garlepp, a really good operator, but you two? Just a level above. A level above.
Jeez, that's huge.
I'm not sure about the psychic, but I've heard some of your expert opinions, and
really?
it almost is psychic the way it tends to come true. So we thought no better man to sit in the chair and give us a bit of a preview of Cats Swans. What do you think about the Cats' chances of winning, mate? Do you have them as a favourite like so many do?
I do. Well, they've been the best team all year, haven't they? The Cats. So, and it comes down to the one day, and the one day of which they haven't been able to get to consistently. Lots of prelims in the past decade. They won one in 2011, but they've been the most consistent, or one of the most consistent clubs for a long time, and I think their time is now. They've got that mix of maturity and a fair bit of youth as well that's coming through and provides a bit of X factor. So I think it is the Cats to win, but like all good experts, you sit on the fence, and I can see why Sydney could win as well.
Where have you seen Geelong's improvement from this year? Obviously, they made a prelim, and it was sort of like, where can they go from here? And now they've were 2 games clear on top of the ladder. Into the grand final in emphatic fashion. So where have you seen the improvement from?
It was obvious for everyone to see right from their first pre-season game this year. I was actually there. GMHBA Stadium. They played Richmond, and they brought in an overlap handball game.
Yeah.
So for years they've been a kick, control, build the ball up slowly, and they've just brought in this little handball game between the arcs, which brings their speed and skill in. Then they get the ball in a bit quicker.
Yep.
Does help that you've got a fully fit Jeremy Cameron up and going. And Tom Hawkins just elevated his game to another level with the ball coming in quicker. So that's as subtle as it's been in terms of game style. But then personnel-wise, Tyson Stengel, the last half of the year of Max Holmes, who may or may not play, as I said, they tend to find young talent that pop in and give this older group a bit of X factor that should take them to premiership glory.
Well, as you said, Geelong are they've been the best team all year. They have the premiership expectation on them. Do you think that's a heavy burden to carry, and potentially maybe Swans being the underdogs, that alleviation of pressure could be what wins them the flag?
Yeah, so I'll start with the Cats. I reckon Chris Scott does it really well.
Yeah.
I heard him speak during the week. He said something really interesting because everyone piles on. I think there's a bit of pile on the Cats, and there's a pile on in terms of they played 1 game in 27 days. And Chris Scott came out and said, well, that's fine if people think that, but our group internally is discussing exactly why it's a positive, that we can train to the minute. We can either train the guys that need to train more, or we can pull the guys out that don't need the work. So they would be imploring their guys that they're in a really good position. The other side of the coin is the Swans, who whether John Longmire is going to give them it's the free swing. Well, there's never a free swing at a ground because so much is on the line, but we're underdogs. Let's go in, a bit of an ambush and swing the club. Ross Lyon used to say, swing the club.
Yeah.
So just, let it loose today. Let it loose. So I think the Swans will absolutely do that and probably rely a little bit on the fact that maybe the Cats will tighten up.
There's stars all over the field for the grand final. What can we expect, do you think, from a Lance Buddy Franklin? A little bit quiet in the qualifier, a little bit of form in the prelim. Grand final, he could just explode. What are you expecting?
There's going to be a bit of expectation on him. If Sam Reid is either out or underdone, like Logan McDonald has huge upside. He'll be a very good player for a long time, but a bit out of form. So the reliance on Buddy without Reid and with Logan McDonald, a young player, and obviously another key coming in, whether it's McLean or Amati. Peter Laddams has done himself a mischief. He can't play after getting 3 weeks in the VFL. So, Buddy, there's going to be a bit of pressure on Buddy. But why not? He's not, 9 years? 10 years he's been there, and this might be the swan song, pardon the pun.
He's had a couple of moments where there's pressure, and he always delivers. So this just could be the perfect recipe for the big Budbah.
I think Buddy will be obviously a key part if the Swannies do happen to win the big dance. But what else have you got for us? Why else could they win this grand final?
Yeah, I think Buddy plays a role. I think the Swans is a bit like death by a million paper cuts. They've got just a spattering of class all around. Chad Warner's one that's gone bang this year. Yeah. But if he's down, it's Luke Parker, it's Rowbottom that get to work. Callum Mills has probably been their most consistent performer all year. Goulden was quiet on the weekend, but he wouldn't put 2 bad ones together, so he'll spike. McInerney, first half of the year was, in my opinion, an All-Australian 40 squad. He's died off a bit the back half, but they're not reliant on too few. They can afford 4 or 5 of their guys to have really quiet games knowing the rest pick up the slack. And they've got some guys primed, that kind of centre forward position that can come onto the scene in the grand final and split the game apart. I speak of like Goulden and Papley and Hayward. So I think those three in particular are the three that can get to work for the Swans if they're to get the result.
Well, we've got another two that could potentially really play a role in the grand final. So a segment that we've done all year on Goes All Right is our Boy of the Week, where we highlight someone who is sort of playing a role but is doing something that we really love, Rogie.
It could just be absolutely anything, the smallest thing. Our Boy of the season, of course, went to Trent Bianco. Just a smooth mover, knows his limitations.
He's got one gear. It's got gear 2, I reckon. He never goes fast and he's never going full-blown.
But he always does something with the pill, which we absolutely love. But we've got two Our Boys, one Our Boy each, one from either team playing in the big dance this weekend. You've already mentioned one of them, and it's a boy I really do love because he's come from my junior footy club, the mighty Banyule Bears, and that is Justin McInerney,
yes.
J-Mac. I think his outside run, he wasn't expected to have this much of an impact this early in his career. He's come in, and I think that his run on the outside could have a big part to play in this grand final.
They paint the fences, don't they, the wingmen? And sometimes it's a thankless task. You don't get much ball, but and that's probably happened to him the last half of the year. But plays a role. He gets back, sports defence, gets forward and kicked a nice goal on the weekend. So I like that one. If you give me one from Sydney, I will go with James Rowbottom.
Right.
I think he's the one that could probably walk down Swan Street and be fairly unnoticeable, but I reckon Horst Longmire puts his magnet in pretty quickly every week.
Yep. Yeah, well, there's a bloke from the Cats who we actually named as our Boy of the Week, and we want to highlight him again. He's sort of on the lips of everyone when they talk about these role players at Geelong, and it's Brad Close. Talk to us about Brad Close this season.
Wears the long sleeves. I think he wears the long sleeves because he's got arms like noodles. But that's all right. I think he'd embrace that. Now, I love his story. He's a mature age recruit. And that's, to my point about Geelong, they just find these guys that come in and fit into their system. Tyson Stengel, who's high-end talent, but has now found the maturity to be an AFL player. Similar to Close. From Geelong, I love whether it's a redemption story, but he's only a young player, but he's probably been much maligned in his young career. And his brother's probably the most important player, I reckon, on the Cats side, Cam Guthrie.
Yep.
I like Zach Guthrie's story.
Yeah.
Great year.
I know a lot of Cats fans, and
he was the whipping boy.
He was the whipping boy for a long time.
Yeah.
And now he's just signed a 2-year contract extension, and he's a tough young kid that doesn't look like he should be tough. That's what I like about him.
Well, can you give us a definitive tip of where you see this game going and unfolding?
Yeah, I'll sit on the fence all day, but now that I'm asked to give a tip, I'll go just with the form of the year. We'll go Cats by 15. Norm Smith medal, Cam Guthrie, because I think he gets undervalued all year, and he won't seek out the highs of a Norm Smith, but I think he's the most important player on the ground on Saturday, and he'll get it.
Can I give you a left field one that you can do take to all your other media commitments, and you can report this as fact?
Yeah.
I think that with Sam Reid likely being out, I want to see them throw Paddy McCartan forward.
Wow.
And watch the number one draft pick full forward dominate on grand final day. It'd be one of the all-time
One
stories.
problem with that, the logic of the head coach in me.
Yeah.
Geelong's forwards. Who are you going to put on Cameron and Hawkins?
Rowbottom or McInerney, I reckon. One of our boys will get the job done.
Remarkable. If they could do that, if Rowbottom goes down and plays on Jeremy Cameron, he's unbelievable. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mick, it's been awesome for you to join us on Goes All Right. It's absolutely footy fever here in Melbourne at the minute. We've sent the Bromley-Lynch lads who do a podcast here at Producy out on the streets, and they've been asking the public why players are bigger than the game. So here are the boys out on the streets.
Josh, it's Melbourne, it's September, it's a footy bubble. We're in the bubble, Sam. We are in the bubble. There's a lot of pressure on our footy players. Sam, let's go change some perspectives on these footy players. Josh, because they are human too. They are. Let's go find out what's in the hearts and minds of these footy players. Josh, we're here with Josh. Yeah, how good a name is Josh?
Ripper, absolute ripper, I tell you.
We're here with Matt, who is about to humanise these AFL players. Now, Josh, if you could go for a coffee walk with any AFL player, who would it be?
Probably Tom Stewart.
Matt, who would you most want to go for a coffee walk with?
Look, probably Dill Buckley. Sounds like a really good bloke, you know.
Remains to be seen. If you could go to Mars with one footy player, who would it be? You remember, you're stuck on a ship for 2 weeks. All you've got is them.
You know what? Once again, Tom Stewart.
This guy loves Tom Stewart. Klinger, who would you most want to have a coffee walk with in the AFL? I was thinking like an Ed Langdon, because he's a bit, he's good weird. We love a bit of good weird.
I'm a Russell myself, so we can have a nice chat.
Sam, it's very interesting to see the dynamic here. So we've got a few that have obviously just had a couple of drinks on a Friday night. We've got a couple that are celebrating for the weekend. We have. But we've just got all, perspectives of human behaviour going on. It's good to see people are really thinking about it to humanise the AFL player. And we love it. We love it, okay? Not as much as we love you. Which player would make a great Prime Minister?
Phil Davis.
He would. Is it the glasses?
I think he's just, he knows what he's talking about. He knows the changes that need to be made.
And it's time for a Prime Minister, like male Prime Minister, to have a ponytail.
Yeah.
Which player would be the best Prime Minister?
Ooh, probably Jezza Cameron. I reckon he's got a bit of ticker about him.
There'd be a lot of fishing and hunting.
There would be.
Back into the,
there would be, but I'm all for it. I mean, a few public holidays here or there.
Who would you rather read you a bedtime story out of Kevin Sheedy and Andrew Demetriou?
But if you want to, Kevin Sheedy, he loves it red.
He does, doesn't he? So a couple of questions. Now, if any AFL player was a Prime Minister, which one would you want? Who?
Dustin Martin.
Dustin Martin, we've got to go. Now, who would you take to a yoga retreat out of Jack Ginnivan and Toby Green?
Toby Green.
Thank you for joining us. Got him.
Well done, Josh.
Thank you. Forgot my Mikey. What's your name? Harry, is this really fun? What's so good about it?
I don't have to do it.
Very good. Thank you very much, Harry. Appreciate it.
Well, there you go, Melbourne. The players are humanised.
You hear that?
What's that?
We just burst the bubble.
Humanise our players.
From out on the streets to now in studio live with us. How was it out there, boys? The Bromley-Lynch lads.
It was great, Connor. We got to find a bit of the sensitive side of our AFL players, what the fans thought of their sensitive
Which
sides.
is what we want to know, because we all answer those like rudimentary questions about players, but then like we wanted to delve a little bit deeper, and I think we got the answers we were looking for.
You blokes absolutely smashed it. So we're obviously joined by Josh and Sam from the Bromley-Lynch podcast. They do the potty out of Producey, so we're colleagues.
We are colleagues. It's just a podcast about, and you've been on.
I have been on.
It's just the battery charging. It's out on a Monday morning. You know, people get a bit flat on a Monday morning, so we're trying to rewrite the script in that way, and we're battery charging. We do a quiz with people. We have some great people join us, so it's just a bit of fun.
The quiz is a very famous segment. Do you have a grand final edition one for us today?
Well, it's funny you ask, because perhaps we do have a little grand final quiz.
My God, there's a quiz. There was a quiz here. And just do us a favour, right? Off the top of the show, you said the word rudimentary, and it's been in my head ever since, because we need to keep it simple for our man over here. If we could make sure none of those large words in the quiz.
Okay, I'll take rudimentary out of the quiz.
Thank you. That's greatly appreciated.
Would you like me to start the quiz?
We love a quiz.
Okay.
We ever.
We've got
Bromley-Lynch
5 questions.
quiz on Goes Alright. This is a sort of metaverse, sort of Marvel style.
It's beautiful. We're looking forward to it. Okay. Are we going to go contest between you two? So maybe a quick buzz in.
We compete.
Okay.
So you say Kados, Connor.
Okay.
Have you got the... Who won the Norm Smith medal in the 2010 drawn grand
Kados.
final?
It was Lenny Hayes.
Well done.
Yeah, of course.
1-0.
Had a real sort of Darren Lockyer grasp to his voice in the speech as well.
Yes.
Lenny Hayes. It was very
And he was
interesting.
filthy. He just sort of got it and walked off.
I just feel like there was a buzz, and then there was an and then there was a name. I think he bought himself time with the So let's just keep our tabs on that.
We'll just get the instant replay up.
Yeah. Question 2. Who has the most amount of touches in a grand final?
Connor, Greg Williams.
No.
Kados.
Yes.
Simon Black.
No.
And Christian Petrarca.
I've looked into it.
You've done some
I
stat
thought
padding.
it was the same, but it's just Petrarca.
So that's wrong.
They've credited him with the 40%.
They gave him the extra one because that's...
He said Simon Black, though, so it's wrong.
No. Last
No
year,
points.
Petrarca, 40 touches.
Bad luck, McDonald.
Unbelievable.
No points there.
Unbelievable.
We're taking this one back a bit. Who has won the most premierships of any player?
Kados.
Yeah.
Michael Tuck.
Mate, Kados is taking the piss out of you.
Well done.
There's levels to this game.
That's why he's on the front cover in the magazine.
That's
That's
true.
why
You're
he
not on
runs the show.
Question 4, 2 to go. Can you whisper it to Connor and maybe he can
I'll help you.
get a head
I'll give you some sign language under the table, all right?
How many goals did Darren Jarman kick?
Connor, 5.
Well done,
Yeah.
Connor. Well done.
This is a bit of a
I would
Collingwood
never
vibe.
have known that. I would
Yeah,
never.
man. Cup gets Rogers on the board.
We love this.
Known as the best kick out of South Australia as well, Darren Jarman.
I knew that. You should have asked that as the next question. We've got that right too.
Well, Sam, you stole the question.
So there's one to
No,
go.
I'm joking. Last question. What AFL Grand Final year and player do you relate this commentary to?
Connor.
Cometh the moment, cometh the champion. Player and the year.
I suppose I have to go because I buzzed.
Great
in.
question, Josh.
Ripper.
Cometh the moment.
This is what you get on the Bromley-Lynch.
It's fine. I was just certain you were going to go with Leo Barry, you star, but cometh the moment, cometh the champion. I'm going to have to go with 2018.
Wrong.
Kados. I'm going to say Brendan Goddard kicking a goal against Collingwood for the Saints.
Guys,
You're both wrong.
One of the greatest players of all time did this.
Oh, Judd.
No.
Cooter.
Adam Goods, 2012, when he kicked pretty much the winning goal.
That is
for Sydney.
elite.
Cometh the moment, cometh the champion, Bruce McAvaney.
Well, we'll
Jeez.
just hand in our formal resignation for our positions in this chair.
You guys were probably a bit young for the 2012 Grand Final, were you?
24. I am
probably-
now. I don't think I was that young.
So it's obviously grand final week. What do you boys enjoy about the AFL grand final week?
Well, I love on the Saturday morning just the confessed,
chirping.
they're confessed, professional punters that think they know exactly what's going to happen on grand final day, where no one has any idea what's going to unfold. I love the people just guessing, Norm Smith, all that sort of stuff, just the chatter around it. I love that.
I was at the most infamous grand final ever played.
Really?
Before the game. Meatloaf. I was at the game. So I was at the Meatloaf. And I was sitting in like level 2. Great seats.
Did you acknowledge it? It's tragic at the time.
No, this was it. So I was with someone.
You loved it.
And I'm like, I saw this Harley come in. I'm like, oh, yeah, Meatloaf's here. And then it was like no one was playing. So like for 20 minutes, I'm like, has he started yet? Has he started? Because you're like, what the hell is going on
Good
here?
save.
Yeah, so what the hell is going on here? Because it was probably...
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah, one thing, like, you couldn't even notice that he was there because you're like, is this PA system broken? But it wasn't broken. His career was broken.
Yeah. you know what I love?
Yeah.
The fact that we have a public holiday for it.
Yeah.
Like
For Meatloaf.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying.
not for Meatloaf. Well, we should do as well. But is there any other sport, like, do the Super Bowl, do they have a public holiday over
What's
in
a
America?
Sunday? So, I guess ours is Saturday.
Maybe they have like a Monday long weekend.
Maybe they do, but I know we definitely have
I don't
one
reckon
here.
the NRL do. I reckon that
No,
was a
they
bit-
do.
They do.
They
now.
do.
Oh.
They do on the Monday. I
The
believe.
Monday
You
after.
blokes just know everything.
I
These
believe
quizzes
it's the
are
Monday.
these quizzes are
That's
doing
why we run the
phenomenal
quiz.
stuff.
Just
for you.
retain, that is why we
retain
run the
knowledge.
quiz over on the Bromley-Lynch podcast.
So the Bromley-Lynch podcast, very fun podcast. They've got a lot of great segments. We've also got a great segment on Goes Alright, and we want to bring it out with you boys and go through it with you.
I reckon
Bring it
it's a slightly greater segment than the ones you guys do.
Okay, we'll see about that. We'll be the judges.
This is world famous segment. It's called Goes Alright or Doesn't. We're gonna bring up 3 different sort of AFL Grand Final traditions and things, and we just want to know whether they go alright or whether they don't.
Okay, I like this. So this is world famous.
This is. They're talking about it
I
around
reckon
the globe.
someone outside of Australia has seen a segment.
Intergalactic, I'm hearing. It's transcended universes.
Mars style.
Fire us off, McDonald.
Goes alright or doesn't. AFL Grand Final curtain raisers. Like what they used to have the under 18s, the VFL back in the day.
Goes all right. Bring it
I'm
back.
like, goes all right.
As
I
if
like
you
it.
don't want to watch another game before the game.
Wouldn't it be great? You'd love it if they could tie it up so then it's like the AFLW Grand Final beforehand or something like that. Would be absolutely
That's a
phenomenal.
wild
if we
way,
could get to
I
that.
think. But that would be, even like an AFLW game would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the
I'm a goes
VFL
all right.
Grand Final,
Yeah,
can we
I'm
have
a
them?
goes all right.
They used to do a bit of NAB League. I think they might do, maybe they do like under 18 sort of showcase game maybe.
They do that on the Friday night. So
do
it'd be
that,
Vic Metro versus
Another
Vic
knowledge.
Country.
That'll
More
be
knowledge.
good.
Yeah.
That's sensational.
But that's on the
Move
Friday.
that to the Saturday.
Yeah,
That'd be
get in
unreal.
there. Get in there.
Expose the young developing players.
The more footy,
Exactly.
the better. I haven't been lucky enough to see Carlton make a grand final, but if we ever did, I would get there the minute the doors open. I'd love to sit there and just
Don't
watch.
hold your breath, mate.
Yeah, I know. I won't be.
You've got the Brownlow medalist, Coleman medalist, and 3 All Australians. You still can't make the final.
I think we all agree that it goes all right. The next one we've got is clash jumpers. So the non-traditional jumper in the grand final. Richmond had to do it in 2017. There's a bit of conjecture around wearing a non-traditional kit in a grand final. Goes all right or doesn't?
No, it goes all right. Smart move. Imagine watching it's the most watched televised game.
You need the
And
colours
you need
to not- yeah.
you need to differentiate.
You would hate for a game to be decided upon someone giving it to an opposition
Absolutely.
player.
That would suck.
Yeah.
And I hate tuning in and it cuts to the wide shot and like both jumpers just blend in. Remember the Anzac Day a couple of years ago where both
Couldn't see,
Anzac Day
couldn't
clashes
tell.
were just dark?
Can I follow on with it goes all right for that?
Yeah.
I love the home strip if they had to wear the clash strip, changing into their home strip when receiving the
traditional
awards.
strip.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
good.
fantastic.
That goes all right.
I don't like the look of a clash jumper in a grand final. I'm a big fan of tradition. So I reckon if two teams that clash make the grand final, the team that won the grand prelim by the least amount of points does not qualify, and a team that doesn't clash gets upgraded into the big dance. That would be my system.
The property stewards would have a meltdown. I'd hate that.
The last goes all right or doesn't, lads, is the halftime entertainment this year. Robbie Williams goes all right or doesn't.
I've seen Robbie live.
Angels.
And
You and
guess
me
what?
both.
He goes all right.
He's the best.
Goes all right.
Robbie's not just great for the 40 to 60-year-old females. He's great for everyone.
Let me dare say his first song will be "Let Me Entertain You."
Best thing ever.
If
when
he
he
comes
runs-
in on a chopper,
He
then
hangs
that
down
definitely
from a
goes
chopper.
right.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
If you look it up on YouTube, he hangs down from a chopper and sings the song upside down.
Yeah.
That is
I
unbelievable.
honestly, if you had to ask me who is your ideal grand final
It's
entertainment,
him.
top of the tree, number one draft pick, Sam Walsh, it is Robbie Williams.
He's great.
I'm going to say doesn't go all right. I reckon we can get someone a little bit more modern. I reckon we
Nah,
can get
mate.
someone who's in the charts right now.
So who would you prefer?
Olivia
Dua Lipa.
Rodrigo.
Dua Lipa.
I don't even know who that is.
Banger after banger.
You come back to us on Monday and say if it goes all right or it doesn't.
Yeah, not a bad call.
Be the judge.
The lid will be lifted off the MCG, not that it has a lid. It'll be the single greatest performance in grand final history.
Now, we've actually got 200 plus joining us next. Now, Josh, you're very
Yes.
familiar with the work of Nick Butler.
Nick Butler. I'm in here every Wednesday, and I love my Wednesdays for a number of reasons. One is because Nick Butler's here, and he just brings this. He's got a presence.
Talk about
He
charging
does
the
have a
batteries.
presence, but some stuff he does. He needs to be found accountable. So what I decided to do was give him a taste of his own medicine, and I did a bit of a doorstop with him with some of the things that are factual and aren't quite factual with Nick Butler.
This is awesome. So this is Josh doorstopping the doorstopper, Nick Butler, out the front of Producy. Take a look at this.
He's used to door stopping people. Well, it's time to return the favour. Nick, a few allegations, mate. Are you actually 200 centimetres?
In RM Williams's, I am, yeah.
And is it true? Is it true that Adrian Dodoro's got a cease and desist letter against you?
That's a bit strong, but he did say, stop sending me mixtapes because you're clogging up my...
And quickly, Nick, is it true that there is no billboard of you in Adelaide?
No, there's a billboard and someone drew a big on it.
And also, is it you that's been leaving this? Is it Nick?
I was a big deal, mate.
Is it true?
Best news
Is
reader
it true,
that's
Nick? Is it true you've been leaving skid marks at the toilet?
Speak to my manager.
The doorstopper has been doorstopped. Unbelievable scenes. And now we're joined by the great man and host of the 200 Plus podcast, Nick Butler. How are you, mate?
Oh, Big Cato, I'm good. Good to be on. Goes all right. Big audience, big show.
It's grand final week. The energy is electric. And for the grand final show, you need the biggest and the best of guests, which is why we've got our man, Ivan Maric, in the studio. How are you, brother?
Oh, big boy.
Yeah,
Here he is.
thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite.
And what's this little gift I've seen on the table
Yeah,
here?
a bit of home produce there with the Croatian-style sausages and a jar of gherkins. In the 2020 hub, my room was named the Gherkin Lounge and it was open to all the players and staff, so I thought I'd bring it on and share it with you guys.
Big, aggressive, masculine gifts. That's a real big man. See, we pump up Sam Draper on 200 Plus.
Yes.
It's normally myself, Drapes and Goz. It's an eclectic crew. Drapes is in Spain somewhere. He won goal of the year, the big boy with the mullet. This man was the original big boy with the mullet, the Davy Crockett. They were selling him in the cheer squad. We're in rare air here.
Avan walked so Sammy Draper could run.
That is exactly right. He should be paying you royalties.
How's it feel now that you big Bailey Smith and these lads run around with the mullet and everyone's raving about them? Do you think you deserve a bit more credit for your mullet?
Look, I don't want to take all the credit for the mullet because I got some inspiration myself as a young kid from some 90s action heroes. So, yeah. I wasn't the first.
Thor? Who? He-Man?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Fair enough.
Jean-Claude.
Yes.
Just full on cult figure status. Nick, so you're the host of the 200 Plus podcast, going beautifully.
Yes.
How's it been stepping into the podcast game?
I loved it. It's a beautifully weird medium, different to the news, where everything's stiff and timed and ties and makeup. It's be real. We talk about edging and raw dogging and underwear.
Yes.
And insecurities
You
about
talk-
being big.
you
and
talk about it all.
Gherkin rooms. Nothing is off. What word am I looking for?
Limits. Nothing's off limits.
Nothing's off limits in the big man world.
Nothing is off limits, especially old balls and young balls.
The
Can you
world
talk
famous
us through
segment.
it?
Old balls, young balls. It's a generation gap that we do on the show. So I'm nearing 40. Drapes is 23. Goz 30. Evie here 36. So we like to shoot the shit, for want of a better word, because things have changed in the last 20 years. So it's been a big segment. We almost got sued by the Freo Footy Club for I think they have Old Buck, Young Buck or something. Yeah, they didn't like the name, so we had to change it to Old Balls, Young Balls. But it's good.
Have you got a grand final edition of Old Balls, Young Balls for us that we can get involved in?
Well, I think the grand final is our edition. Yeah, it's just what you like about your grand final weekend.
And what did you love about it?
The marathon.
The marathon.
Footy marathon. You kids, you millennials, you might not remember, but the host broadcaster back in the day, come about 8 o'clock on grand final eve, it was wall-to-wall grannies. You didn't have a rundown for this. You didn't know what you were going to get.
Just
and
the
it got you
shuffle.
in the zone. Got you in the zone, man.
My dad would always talk about how the grand final eve, there was a grand final marathon. I'm not sure they still do it, Rog.
No, I wasn't even aware this was ever a thing. Ivan, did you used to watch the grand final marathon?
Nah, not really. I was more into soccer as a kid, yeah.
Like Drapes.
Well, now if we want to watch a grand final, we've got kayak. We just get that up. We flick to any which game whenever we like. I don't want to wait around on a marathon and have no idea what's coming next.
No, you got to have some resilience.
On
you have
demand.
to get through the shit black and white grand final so you get your 89 grand final.
I'll take it on demand and
the
in colour,
history of the
please.
game. So it was good. It was. Look, it was a bit of a punish at times. But the other thing is the players used to rotate through the hosting. So you'd be getting your Paul Salmons and Mark Harvey and Dermy all doing an hour each. And that was good. That'd be some rough as guts footy hosts.
That's elite.
So for 24 hours. So it was good. It brings back great memories. I love it. I click into grand final mode at about 4
From the
o'clock.
Brownlow almost.
No, that's build up. I mean real excitement / anxiety where you start to vomit a little bit of your food.
Yeah.
4 o'clock Friday.
Another great segment you guys have on the 200 Plus podcast is the spirit animal.
Yes.
It's going great guns, the spirit animal. Do you have a grand final spirit animal?
Do you really
Hey,
believe
talk
that?
us through what a spirit animal is to you.
Spirit animal. See, big men are different to you little guys
Yeah.
on the periphery. You know, winning Brownlows and kicking goals and bananas. Big men sort of have to, they're responsible for the energy and effort and courage and aggression and resilience. And if you don't bring that, you're useless. You get out. So we pretty much reward a big man every week who shows that. They could get 5 touches, but it could be one action, could be coming on with a broken nose or whatever. It doesn't have to be best on ground. So it's just big man qualities.
And who's your spirit animals in the big dance coming up? The Cats and the Swannies, if you don't mind.
Well, weirdly, we've rewarded both these guys. So Reece Stanley got a nomination during the year because we felt he is so good looking.
He is.
That we think it affects his stance as a player. Like we think if he's uglier, he'd be considered a better player.
Right.
Agree? People
You
think
think-
Reece Stanley should be better. Guys should be better.
Yeah.
Good runner, good looking, good kick, takes a few marks, kicks a few goals, but should be better because he's so good looking.
But
So-
I don't think we should be making excuses for the good-looking blokes. I reckon it's about time they get brought down a peg. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but he's weathered that. And he's
Yeah.
going to get a game on Saturday. So well done to Reece Stanley. And Hick.
Oh, what a
Goz
story.
loves Hick because
What a
he's
story.
the opposite.
Yeah.
He looks like an unmade bed. He looks like he dropped the ball and he'll miss his shoe. He's gawky, he's
Wanky.
wonky, but he took a big clutch mark on the weekend. So he is the resilience animal. So we've got the good-looking rooster
Yep.
and the unmade bed, and they're going to go at it. Ivy? And who's going to win the battle?
Yeah, look, really hard to say, but look, I think both of them have showed a lot of resilience across their careers, travelled, different clubs and that sort of thing. So, we're really excited about seeing that battle. I know you are as well. So,
Give us a winner. Who wins that contest, do you think, on the day?
And why?
yeah, look, I'll probably go with the guy that really just roughs it up and scraps, and that's probably Hickey.
Like you, the brute.
Yeah. I really respect those guys, but a lot. But look, Reece Stanley's a quality player, so he'll put up a fair fight.
If you were playing on Reece and you know that he can run like the wind, I think Nick Revolt said he's the best athlete he's ever seen. What do you do? I mean, you can't kick his ankles. How do you slow him down?
Yeah, you don't want to get caught up in a running race or athletics.
Bump him,
bump him, make him move off his line, those sorts of things. So
There's a lot of moments that go down in grand final folklore. Now, Ivan, you've got a story from the 2017 grand final. We'd love to hear it if you could.
Exclusive this is untold.
Yeah, actually,
Bit of a yarn.
I don't think I've told many people this story, but yeah, in 2017 I retired sort of towards the end of the year, and I really wanted to get into coaching and player wellbeing. So Richmond sort of gave me an opportunity to do a bit of an apprenticeship. So I sat in the coach's box throughout the finals series, but I got offered a sort of a cashy leading into the on grand final morning.
Yeah, the season for the cashy.
And look, I didn't get many cashies in my time. That was probably my first or second one. So, but it was to do a bit of a pub crawl with Tony Modra.
Brilliant. That's
yeah,
unreal.
Godra.
You would have loved Godra growing up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, loved watching him play. And anyway, so we bit of a pub crawl, and I sort of had about 4 or 5 pints, and then I had to sort of leave the last pub. I think it was the Precinct actually, and
just as you're warming up,
run into the change rooms and get ready for the game, and look, maybe it relaxed me a fair bit. Yeah, and
Dimmer give you the matchup board or?
Yep, and I'm here still employed by Richmond, so it must have worked.
No, well, Dimmer,
that is unbelievable.
Dimmer was having a beer or two on 360 the night before their first
You
final.
got to keep it chilled. You got to keep it relaxed.
You might have been the turning point.
Oh, who knows? Look, I haven't tried the 5 pints before a game since then, but look, yeah,
Did
it
you
worked on that
ever
day.
have a beer before a game?
Nah, never. I was very, very strict.
Or so he says. But when we do start getting really excited for the grand finals, when we get the tunes pumping beforehand, not just the pre-match entertainment, but we're talking the great man Mike Brady.
Oh,
You're
the
a
anthems.
fan, aren't you, bro?
Huge fan, mate. I got him to perform live on the show I did with Dill a few years ago. He likes 1200 cash, Mikey Brady, and he likes a special amp. Like not a little cheap amp, it's got to be the right amp for the man. But I love him. He gets a bit anxious, but he is football for me. I'm a one day in September man. I like my up there Kazali.
Yeah.
But one day in September really gets the blood pumping.
You know he's actually written another song just to keep him relevant about local footy. So he's not just a September man. Now he's going all year long.
I didn't mind the local footy anthem. A couple of his little spin-offs, not so much. But the local one I liked.
I'm not sure it rivals a local footy anthem on the YouTube scene as well, though, Rogie, would it?
Oh, the back pocket plugger you're referring to. Are you familiar with the back pocket plugger? We'll have to get you onto it.
I'll be googling after this.
Yeah, get on it on the Spotify.
Well, we aren't lucky enough to have Mike Brady live in studio, but we
Fair
have
dinkum, 1,200. Who's paid for that?
We have got the next best thing. Radio superstar. We're talking Gold FM host Jack Post has sent in his version of the Mike Brady classic.
Oh yeah.
Hey mate, you've got to hear this. There's this guy in the studio doing a cover of Up There Kazali.
Up There Kazali? I'm too busy for that.
In my 60 years of being an audio engineer, I have never heard anything as beautiful as this.
Doesn't Mike Brady already sing Up There Kazali?
Not like this. Jack, from the top, mate. Just like last time.
Up there, Kazali, in there and fight. You're out there, Renato. Show them your might. Up there, Kazali, don't let them in.
People need to hear this. Put it on air.
You're out there to win. Up there, Kazali. Fly like an angel. Up there, Kazali.
Hey, Gil. You know the grand final sound you've been looking for? Listen to this.
Up there, Kazali. Let them in. Fly like an angel. You're out there to win.
I think we got it, mate. Thank you.
Beautiful stuff from our musical guest, Jack Post, a very artsy rendition of Up There Kazali. And now we're joined by the podcasting juggernaut itself, the List Clogger boys. Dan and Deal, how are you, lads?
Welcome to us. Great to be here.
Yeah.
Be on the outside listening in. Sounds like it's going well.
Hopefully everyone's still with us.
Yeah, they're awake or not?
Well, you guys are the headliners. Everyone's stuck around for the
Yeah,
headliner.
true. Yeah, bring it back.
When did you find time to go to the op shop? Did you go to Savers earlier, did you? I thought you were in the office all day.
They ran out of Vinny Catoggio, so the rundown. So I just went, this style instead. I thought it was dress up thing.
I've got my 5th chest hair growing. I've counted them. I had 4 for the whole year. I've got my 5th, so I thought I'd better try put them on full display.
Yeah.
Boys, grand final week,
Yeah.
big week for everyone involved in football. What's the week sort of look like for you boys?
Oh, mayhem.
Yeah, mate. Can I say,
People.
I genuinely love
The grand final.
grand final. Like,
love
I
footy.
seriously reckon it is just the best. And I'm so happy to be in Melbourne for it. So excited. I'm going to try and go to the game. But I just think there's no better time in Australia than grand final time.
Everyone's so happy. Everyone's up and
so
about.
excited.
I don't know. The vibes are electric, and I feel like everyone, no matter if you have a dog in the fight, you pick a team and you whip them home on grand final day. Do you have a sort of a tip or a prediction of where you think this game might go?
I've been on Sydney hard from the start of finals. I've been right. I'm saying, look, Sydney, if they get it all together, they'll win, and they're getting it together. So Sydney by 8 points.
And what do you mean, guys? I want to get inside.
Just because I
get
think,
it all
boys,
together.
just
Can you really?
because probably you guys look at footy on
On a
like
surface level?
surface level.
Right, yeah.
But Dylan and I, we kind of dig a bit
We're in the
deeper into that.
four
walls.
'Cause I think a little bit because we've played AFL football as well.
Yeah.
So when we're watching,
It
we
could be
put
us
ourselves,
out there.
we put ourselves in their position. And just having that connection to the game, playing, being professional footballer in our life, 7 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
Getting paid to do it. Probably, we know a bit more than everyone else.
Yeah.
So Sydney by 8 points because of all those things.
And that's why we've come to the experts here.
Can I say who I think's going to win?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Because I actually have an interesting point, which I think
Got a bit of a curveball
well,
for
it's
us.
It's not a curveball, but I just think I have an interesting maybe view that's a little bit different to that. I think Geelong are going to win, and it's not because of how they're going at the moment or what's happened the last few weeks. The reason I think Geelong are going to win is I looked at, as we are the List Cloggers, okay, and you guys, I don't want to put words in your own mouth, but you pretty shit at footy sort of thing.
3-time coaches award at the Manual
Exactly.
Bears.
So
Thank you very much.
you're on the same page as us. And what I was looking at the other day was I think Geelong were playing against Brisbane. You look in the stands, they've got Sean Higgins, Asava Radaglia, Sam Menengola, all these guys that you're like, far out, how are they not playing? Like that's impressive. Like you wouldn't even make an emergency list if you asked. Like Cloggers, normally you see a couple going, how are they there? But then you look at Sydney and it looks like what Reed's going to come out this week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Have you heard the Red Hot Mail? They're telling
I'll just quickly finish the point that I'm going to make with that before you take it.
One of the longest points we've ever had on
take it.
I felt 360.
I need to give Dylan a
Sam's
hand.
running a tight ship.
Let's just go to the
Sorry,
big
were
league.
you
It's
still going?
important.
What was that?
Just to wrap it up really quickly. I just don't think they have the depth.
Okay,
That's
no,
all.
that's
So
it.
that's all
That's
I
it.
wanted
That
to
was
say.
it. No worries.
Yeah.
So we were at the event last night, the List Clogger.
And that's all I have to say.
The List Clogger event. Do you boys enjoy the live stuff that you do?
I don't want to say anything too much longer.
No, it's good. It is good. It's different. It's different in the potty. Crowd interaction. You got to keep the crowd on edge and engaged. So it's our third one for the year, and it was great. So best one for the year. To
And
finish things off.
you announced List Clogger of the Year. Can you reveal that here as well on Goes Alright?
And it goes right exclusive because we haven't even said this on List Cloggers yet.
Ollie.
But
Oh,
the List Clogger of the Year 2022 is actually playing the grand final this week. Tom Atkins.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tommy
Well,
Young's playing a major role. Isn't he?
Ranger role.
He's got the sideburns.
He's got the sideburns.
Oh.
Love his hairdo. Love everything about him. And also pipey.
Yeah.
Like very pipey.
Yeah, very
Came
strong.
from playing
Popeye.
local footy, VFL into AFL, and now one of the key cogs in the Geelong chain.
Rowdy Roddy Piper. But one of the you
Don't know what that means.
You did.
I think that's a wrestler.
No, you did do List Clogger of the Year, but also on your show, supposedly, on the B show here at Producy, you also do People Who. Can you talk us through the People Who and what you do?
Yes, the People Who is one of our amazing segments. Behind there's one called GMZ, which is at the top, and then the rest follow after that. No, at the bottom. But People Who is a segment where people who do things, say things, and we've created this segment where people who X, and it's something that frustrates us.
Frustrates, or sometimes we really like. For example, you have one for this weekend.
I have on mine. So mine for this weekend would be people who keep asking you for tickets to the grand final, assuming they want them for free. Like, who do you think I am? Yes, I've played for 7 years. Okay, 26 games. Probably could get you tickets if I really tried.
No finals at all.
No
either.
finals appearances. But people who keep asking you for tickets, like, mate, what do you want me to do? If I had them, I'd be using them.
I've got zero pull at the Melbourne Football Club, but last year during lockdown, I was getting hit up from people in WA going, "Hey mate, can you ring the club and get me a ticket?" And I said, "I absolutely can't."
It's actually unbelievable the nerve on some people in the public that think that they can just get tickets by just asking and not even wanting to pay for it. Just like you're just like, I wish I had that confidence. That's unbelievable. It's really impressive.
Can I give you one? The people who I love, because I'm all about positivity.
Yeah,
you like bringing people down.
No, I like bringing everyone up.
Yep.
So I love people who, and some people don't like this, but I love people who bandwagon grand final week, don't watch footy all year, and then they get to grand final and they've done their scarf and they think it's the best thing of all time.
Deal. So deal.
Yeah,
That's pretty much me. Hasn't watched footy all year.
Yeah,
it's like Christmas and like the Michael Bublé albums you hear, like people throw it on only around December.
I like that. The only thing I'll say is if you do it, you've got to go to the game and give it a bit of gusto.
Yeah.
Because you need. I just don't want it to take away from the experience of. Like, I want crowd. I want the diehards there. That's why I love prelim week because it's almost nearly fans, 50-50 of those teams versus grand final. You do get the neutral crowd a bit more, a lot of corporates as well.
Mine was almost the opposite to Rog. I had people who don't watch footy all season, but then on grand final post heaps about it on their stories.
Yeah,
like
actually exactly what I just said.
That's again literally Deal put a story up saying like, hey, everyone, grand final at the MCG this weekend. Like, oh, we get it, mate.
What about people who do the exact same people who was a person before?
Yeah.
People who don't listen.
I had that first in the meetings.
Can I give you a left field prediction I have for this year's grand final?
Yeah, you can do what you want. Go for it.
I think that we have been lucky enough to see Mike Brady play during the year, and his voice got a bit croaky. It like broke at certain points. He put on a clinic, broke at certain points. I have a feeling that his voice is going to go this year, and the whole crowd in unison is going to sing together and finish it off. Like, you know, if like you're at a club and the DJ deck's cut out, and everyone just starts like singing like "Hey Baby" or something like that.
Yeah.
I reckon everyone together, it'll be the most special moment in
Big
history.
Mike.
Belts out, up there, Kazali together, and it'll be
Big Mike
historic.
Brady
Good song. It's a good song.
Oh, it's a great song. Boys, do we have any tips? You boys are the experts. We want to know who's going to win, how much, and the Norm Smith.
Would not say experts by any stretch, but I reckon Geelong will win. I just think they've just been too consistent. I think they've won 15 games in a row. I think they'll win.
That's not true at all.
I think they've won 15 games in a row.
I think they have.
Have they actually 15 in a row?
Yeah, good stuff, guys.
I'm pretty sure that's
their
true.
last loss was to the Saints in round 9.
Yeah,
Jeez,
there you go.
Impressive.
So 15 in a row.
You're going to change your tip.
They'll win by about. I reckon they'll win by. I want to say close. I want to say 5 points because I want it to be a good game. And Cam Guthrie to be best on. Norm Smith.
Love that. Got a big head, Cam Guthrie. Massive head. Have you seen it?
Used to work at Cold Rock Cafe as well.
Really?
Yeah, doing ice creams.
That's why they started calling him Scoop.
Scoopsy. I'm on that. What about yourself, guys? You got Normie?
Yeah, so I said Sydney because I think they've won like 16 in a row or something like that. So Norm Smith will be Lloyd, just from what I can see here on the AFL app.
What is it that BT, of all the names he chose, like Lloyd is the most stock standard name to go for?
Yeah.
But you can sort of understand Orazio.
And Massimo D'Ambrosio.
Yeah.
Like that,
But
give that a bit of flavour. But
True.
Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd. And then my first goal scorer, because there's always a marker on this, Reece Stanley. Just pushes forward hard early.
Maybe a bit of a Sam Draper out of the ruck. Just runs the
I'd
whole
love
way,
to see
shrugs
that.
one.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because I reckon you'll have a good
Well, you
opinion
already
on this.
did by
Was
saying
just
that.
Yeah, thank you. One more. The commentators for the game. What's your ideal setup? Because I've noticed this lately. Like I love to pick my team at alive at the moment that you'd love to see. I for one am the biggest BT fan. Like I just want him 99% of the time just to be calling that game because I just want the energy like brought up for the grand final.
Can you swap like telecast, like sort of? I would go James Brayshaw and Anthony Hudson, and then I'd probably go Gary Lyon on the special comments. That's prime time.
Wow, so you know BT?
No, I think BT's past his peak.
Regular listeners of Goes Alright would know every single week we nominate a Dwayne Russell quote of the week. Our favourite quote by Dwayne-O. It would be Dwayne Russell, James Brayshaw, and BT as my three. And special comments would probably be Kate and I on the boundary, giving our expert opinion.
I love that.
Definitely not Goz, because he has been watching and doesn't know that Geelong have won 15 on the trot.
Yeah, not true.
That's interesting.
Dwayne Russell's best quote, by the way, of the year.
I can't say I've heard much of Dwayne this year.
We'll put together a little compilation and send it to
been
you. Just
good.
MP3 when you go for a bit of a walk. Just chuck it in. And just sort of
no more blasphemy on our show, please. Don't talk ill of the great man.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I haven't heard much.
I can't believe you don't like Dwayne Russell.
What
do you hate about
Dwayne?
Dwayne.
I do like Dwayne.
Sounds like you don't like him.
Yeah.
No, the best quote of the year by Dwayne Russell was when someone did a really smooth pickup and he goes, he scooped that up like a responsible dog owner. I went, that is painting a better picture than
it's actually art. Like you can visualize it.
Yeah, it's
have we done a tip? Have we done tip?
I think it's gonna be an absolute domination by the Cats, and I reckon it'll be like 20 goals. Like I reckon it'll be one of those ones where you go, 15 goals.
Nah, I'm going the opposite. I'm gonna go Swans by 22. Bud gets 7 and gets the norm.
Wow.
I'm going Zach Tui, Norm Smith.
I like it.
I love the Irishman.
Boys, thanks for joining us.
That's a good call.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm full of them. I actually watch the footy, so I know what I'm talking about.
Congrats to Zach Tui. Sorry, I know we're trying to finish, but I would love to stay for longer. Zach Tui is the most
Thanks
games
for
for an
listening,
Irishman
guys.
now. Is that true? Zach Tui's played the most games for an Irishman now?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
He's just
right.
he just took over Jim Steins'
How was
record.
that, Zach?
Yeah.
And then I think if he wins the flag, he'll sort of equal Tig.
There you go. Wow.
Sensational, Zach.
go.
We love you, Zach.
I might have made that up.
Should still be out the bag of Zach.
Should. So should I.
Lads, it's been awesome.
Here I am.
Lads, thanks so much for joining us. We've got something really special now. So it's a bit of a battle of the pods. We're going to go to a goal kicking challenge that we filmed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
This one is one you don't want to miss.
No, it's not. I just, before like people watch it and go there, just want to know that the ball wasn't really as pumped to the ideal. The ideal inflation.
And there's different metrics when you're actually on the MCG with 70,000 there. It's a lot different than not performing in front of
because I'm used to the footy being like brand new out of the box. This one was a bit more kicked in, a bit like a balloon. So
and I'm used to like BT commentating it and like being like Friday Night Lights.
And it's really different because when you go out there, there's pressure from the camera. So if you've had more experience sort of doing goal kicking challenge on YouTube, you can sort of
and YouTube's a great platform for like
you can absorb,
amateurs and stuff.
Well,
we will
because anyone can do that, but not anyone can go onto the MCG.
Well, you know our last match on YouTube actually has like 100,000 views, which is a packed out MCG.
And that's great.
So
that's awesome.
And I had 13 touches.
Performing in front of like 11-year-olds is like really cool as well. So that's really good.
Well, let's see which podcast can lay their claim to dominance in the producing studios. Will it be List Cloggers or Goes Alright? Here it is.
We're down here to settle the great podcasting debate, Goes Alright versus List Cloggers. We're here to see who has the superior podcast. Now, normally it comes down to ratings, normally it comes down to fans, but not today. We're deciding who is the premiership podcast by set, shot, goal kicking. 2 podcasts, 4 idiots, 1 dream. Come on, boys. Feeling excited, I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling stretchy, limber up. All right, the first shot, about 30 out from the boundary line. Got a kick between the 2 water cans. How are we feeling, boys? Confident?
Ooh, you know we used to do this for a living,
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like at that.
Easy.
Over there.
2 shots per team.
Shut up.
1 shot each, let's go.
All right then, these guys serious? I did this for 7 years. This is just a walk in the park for me. Walk up, kick a goal, tick. All right then, easy.
When you're ready.
1 behind.
Jesus.
These blokes can't play.
Oh, because the ball's a bit flat.
Let's make it interesting.
Is that ball proper like KPI, KPS?
Make it interesting, man.
That's outrageous. Lining up, 30 out, no pressure at all.
Oh, no,
Jesus!
We're home! We're home already!
Genuinely hit that on the instep of my heel. Now, Roger's technique gets questioned sometimes, but I like the accuracy. It's not about the technique, it's about how it goes through.
Oh! Over the line, too!
Oh,
did you see it over the line?
Was
not a chance, that's
over
ball.
the line.
That's a point.
Number 38, I don't know who would pick that number.
Come on, Dos.
All right, goal number 2. This one's a Dylan Buckley special back over there. What we're going to do is, Dan, you stay there.
Yep, like
It's going to be a 1-2
Yep.
from here. Handball to teammate, you get
Look
the
away.
2, you run through, cones, goal.
Drop the hands.
Oh, he steadies, cruises through.
Yep. Easy as
that was not convincing.
No, that wasn't it.
Jeez,
Well
that
done.
was-
Well
that's
done.
nearly missed.
We did it. We're the best. We're the best. Yeah.
Guys can't keep this. They pin
Yep.
the string.
Gets it back.
Oh, on the run, one-handed. That's a procession now.
That's too easy, man.
It's easy. I did this for 7 years. Clubs pay me money to do that at VFL level. I'm a good player. Is there any recruiters in the glass house who just saw that? I'm only 30.
You can't forget what it means to be us. You know, I'm a 4-time Coaches Award winner, all right? You don't get that if you can't kick.
Oh,
Run!
Oh,
Run! Come on! That's what it's all about, baby!
Didn't look great.
Right,
Oh, it's shaky.
Yeah.
It's shaky.
Oh.
Yeah! Is that over the line again?
Again,
Two
on the
from two.
DQ.
Come on.
2 from 2.
DQ. All right, next spot.
Next up, we're going the dribbler. We're going to run through this gate here, dribble it straight through the high diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Here we go. I'm going.
You're going up.
No, it's come off his shin.
That was the worst.
That's come off his knee.
Come on.
Oh,
That's
it
fine, next
feels
to
good. Here we go, McDonald. Bang. At least we register a point.
Handy point, though.
Register a point. We're up by a kick.
2-13.
No chance still. Oh, he's almost fumbled, Butters. Oh,
Skinny.
Skinny.
We're 19, they're 14. The next kick to put them in front by a point.
This is why I went pick 10. Have you ever seen a 6'7" bloke do this?
To put them in front. Goes from the boundary.
No chance.
Rolls it. Doles it. Goals it.
Last kick, we're up by 1 point thanks to Goz.
No worries.
It's going to be a snap.
Again. Here we go.
Reputation depends on a big
Feels
fella.
good, looks good. That's
No
coming back.
chance.
That's not coming back. That's
No
not coming back at all. No score.
No score. No score.
That is massive.
As I said in my career, why always Goz? Why always Goz to save the day? Easy, boys.
Goes.
Yeah. No score.
Score.
So you're
A
surprised if
goal
you make contact with your
to
boot.
win the game. A point to level things.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, you're an idiot. What have you done? What have you done? 1 point down, a point to equal, a goal for the win. We've trailed all day.
Just find your foot.
This for the Magic.
Look how nervous he looks.
Your bread and butter.
That jumper's a bit
Oh,
loose.
no, hasn't even held the ball right. Belly.
Goals.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't even trying anyway.
Yeah.
We were down by a point. We needed a point to equal or a goal to win. I've slotted it from the nosebleeds. I couldn't even see the goalposts. It was that tight of an angle. I couldn't even see any of the goal face.
It was impossible.
The impossible
like,
goal.
defied the laws of physics. Albert Einstein's Nobel Peace Prize has been revoked because his laws of physics have been proven to be false by that goal. That's just won us a goal kicking challenge against List Cloggers.
The absolute ultimate Rezzies have knocked off the List Cloggers. I see it, but I don't believe it.
And more importantly, we are now the superior podcast. Goes all right.
Tune in.
Unbelievable scenes. Rogie, we've taken out the goal kicking challenge against the List Cloggers, lads. How good was that?
That was the most clutch disposal of the football I think I've ever seen. People will think we shot that a million times until you got it right. That was one take straight through the high diddle diddle. That must be like the greatest achievement of your life to assert Goes All Right's dominance over List Cloggers.
It was a great kick, a little bit of a fluke, I reckon. I usually butcher the clutch moment, so to finally get one back was a very good feeling. Rog, we've had an amazing grand final special show. This has been a great day.
So many highlights for this grand final special. I love Jackie Post's song. That was probably my favourite.
The Bromley-Lynch twins.
Oh, don't we love the Bromley-Lynch boys, their quiz? You got to check them out if you haven't already. And it's grand final week. How can you not be up and about and excited? It is honestly the best time of the year.
It is super exciting. Rogie, what are your plans for the weekend?
Well, like grand final day is the single greatest day on the calendar. It's when you get around all your friends, all your family, and you just celebrate what is the single greatest thing this country has to offer. So just going to soak it in.
Super exciting. Good luck to everyone if you go for Geelong, if you go for the Swans. Enjoy the nerves, enjoy the roller coaster of that game. And we want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Goes All Right Grand Final special. And we'll see you next Tuesday to break down the big contest by myself and Connor Rogers. So thanks to everyone tuning in to Goes All Right, a Spotify original podcast. Hey, this is Caden McDonald, and this is Goes All Right.